we may have just gotten our hands on the story of Avengers Doomsday. And obviously, you can call this a fan theory because nothing has been officially confirmed yet. But hear the story out first. Honestly, this feels way too real. Could it be possible that Avengers Doomsday has already been decoded with surprising accuracy? First, let's take a look at the report that started this theory. A few days ago, an insider report surfaced on X, and a lot of people in major media outlets seemed to engage with it. That's exactly how this report caught our attention. Now, before we analyze it, let's go through the full Doomsday plot described in the report. The movie begins in New York City during a heavy rainstorm. We see Spider-Man swinging between skyscrapers, but while swinging, he suddenly senses that something is wrong and stops. Spider-Man removes his mask, revealing that this is Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. Peter looks up at the sky and sees that it has turned completely red. Then he notices another Earth approaching his universe. Meanwhile, on a bridge somewhere else in New York, Deadpool and Wolverine arrive. We learn that the Earth approaching Tobey's universe is actually the X-Men universe. Deadpool and Wolverine are carrying an antimatter bomb invented by Beast, but Peter discovers their plan and rushes to the bridge to stop them from planting it. A huge fight breaks out between Spider-Man and Deadpool. At the same time, Logan hesitates about placing the bomb. Peter is almost winning the fight, but Logan finally activates it. Deadpool escapes using a stolen TVA temp pad, and the antimatter bomb destroys Tobey Maguire's entire universe. From another reality, Professor X witnesses the destruction, but knows there is no other choice. Saving one reality means sacrificing another. After that, the story shifts to Tony Stark's funeral. We learn that after the funeral, Steve Rogers returned to the past and stayed there with Peggy Carter. They even had a son named Jamie. But technically, this timeline should not exist. Because of that, Loki visits Steve and tells him about the Time Variance Authority, or TVA. Loki explains that this timeline will eventually be pruned. However, Loki offers Steve another option. He can move Steve and his entire family to Universe 828, the Fantastic Four universe. Steve accepts the offer. Loki brings them to Earth 828 and gives Steve a way to contact the TVA if he ever needs help. The story then moves to the Baxter Building. Dr. Doom is visiting Sue Storm and Franklin Richards. He speaks as if he has spent years studying the multiverse and incursions. Doom tells Reed Richards that their universe is in danger and that the incursions are not happening randomly. There's a pattern behind them. He believes the only solution is for Reed and Doom to work together. Reed runs a scan and discovers an anomaly connected to Steve Rogers and his family, people who do not belong in Earth 828. Reed and Doom conclude that an incursion is now unavoidable. Together, they begin building a device capable of pushing two universes apart during an incursion. Once the device is complete, they visit Steve, who is now grown older with a beard and longer hair. After hearing everything, Steve suggests traveling to Earth 616 to warn the heroes of his original universe. The story then shifts to Earth 616. Just like the Thunderbolts post-credit scene hinted, the new Avengers spot the Fantastic Four ship, but Sam Wilson's Avengers team reaches them first. For safety reasons, Thor approaches the Fantastic Four before anyone else. Another reason is that Love has repeatedly warned Thor about terrifying visions, showing the end of everything. Thor is relieved when he sees Steve standing beside Reed Richards. Steve proves he is the real Steve Rogers by summoning Mjolnir directly from Thor's hand. During this meeting, Shuri also arrives. The heroes board the Fantastic Four ship, and Reed explains the threat of the incursions. Carol Danvers realizes that her friend Monica Rambeau is trapped in another universe. Reed traces Monica's energy signature and discovers she is in the X-Men universe. The heroes then split into three teams. One team travels to the X-Men universe to rescue Monica and plant the separation device. A second team, including Steve and Thor, heads to the TVA to seek Loki's advice. The third team remains on Earth 616 to prepare for the coming incursion. When the heroes arrive in the X-Men universe, the mutants do not trust them. This leads to a massive battle. Cyclops fights Sam Wilson. Yelena battles Mystique. Gambit fights Shang-Chi, and Deadpool faces Reed Richards. During the battle, Mystique nearly kills Yelena. Seeing this causes Bob Reynolds to lose control and transform into Sentry. Professor X barely manages to calm him down. Once things settle, both sides agree to listen to Reed's plan and work together. But suddenly, the X-Mansion comes under attack. This time, the attackers are Sentinels, surrounded by a strange green energy. Cyclops and the other mutants fight back, while Professor X and Magneto take charge of stopping the threat. At the same time, the story shifts to the TVA. Thor and Steve arrive only to discover that the TVA has been completely destroyed. As they reach the Time Throne, they find Dr. Doom already there. Doom has absorbed Loki's powers. Then, right in front of Steve and Thor, Doom kills Loki. Steve and Thor immediately attack him, but Doom effortlessly defeats them. We then learn that Doom secretly manipulated Franklin Richards and stole his powers as well. Doom tears off one of Thor's arms and captures Steve, taking him to Latveria. Thor barely escapes and eventually reaches the X-Men universe. Meanwhile, after Magneto's sacrifice and Thor's arrival, the heroes defeat the Sentinels. Thor reveals that Doom is the true villain behind everything. The heroes decide to launch an attack on Latveria to rescue Steve and Franklin. Inside Latveria, Doom shows Steve his kingdom. There are surprising cameos everywhere, including Doctor Strange, Clea, and Scarlet Witch, all serving Doom. One of Doom's servants even takes the form of Peggy Carter to manipulate Steve. Then Doom finally reveals his true motivation. His family died because of an Incursion-related experiment. The disaster left his face horribly scarred, forcing him to live behind a mask and armor. Doom blames Steve, Reed, and the entire multiverse for everything that happened. He believes they are responsible for his suffering. Doom explains that he has gathered incredible power and plans to create a perfect reality after the multiverse dies, a world where anyone who opposed him will be punished. Then Doom removes his mask. Steve is shocked because the scarred face underneath looks exactly like Tony Stark. To make matters worse, Doom kills Steve's son Jamie right in front of him. The final act becomes an all-out war in Latveria. Before the battle, Thor prays to Odin. In response, Odin sends a divine army from Valhalla, including Jane Foster and Heimdall, the Avengers, New Avengers, X-Men, Wakandans, Thor, and the army of Valhalla all unite against Doom. As the war unfolds, Earth 616 and Earth 828 begin colliding. Sentry desperately tries to hold the universes apart with his own strength. At the same time, Reed arrives with a giant survival ship called the Ark. He urges as many heroes as possible to board it, but there simply isn't enough time. Meanwhile, heroes across Earth 616 continue saving civilians. The Young Avengers are also putting together their own plan. But in the end, the Incursion happens. The entire multiverse dies. In the empty void that remains, only Dr. Doom is left standing. Using the powers he stole from Loki and Franklin Richards, Doom creates an entirely new reality, Battle World, a world where nobody remembers the old multiverse ever existed. Every character is resurrected as a citizen of Doom's new kingdom. To them, Doom is not just a ruler, he is a god. The first post-credit scene reportedly shows Battle World in all its glory. The Thor Corps stand guard. Galactus waits outside Doom's castle. Inside, Doom sits upon his throne. Doctor Strange stands at his right side. Sue Storm and Franklin Richards stand at his left as part of Doom's royal family. According to the report, a second post-credit scene exists, but work on it has not yet been completed, so no details are available. After reading this entire theory, I was honestly speechless. The plot feels surprisingly simple, and that's what makes it interesting. There aren't many obvious plot holes besides a few questions. How did Doom reach the TVA? Well, if he stole Franklin's powers, that becomes easier to explain. Then another question appears. Why didn't Doom go there earlier? Maybe because he needed more time around Franklin in order to absorb his powers. Another mystery is why Loki specifically chose Earth 828 for Steve and his family. And when exactly did Reed build the Ark? Those are the kinds of questions that would only be answered in the actual movie. What's interesting is that if this really is the Doomsday plot, it's so straightforward that it's hard to find major flaws in it. At the same time, the report seems heavily inspired by the CinemaCon footage and the recent teasers reportedly shown alongside Avatar 3. But that's the story. What do you think? Could this actually be the plot of Avengers? Doomsday? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more Marvel content.